Why, hello there, fellow Smiths. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld, the Boundless Witch. Episode 41. Crafting Toxic Protection for All. So before I start, I want to cover one important change, which I'm sure many of you expected. So here are the details. The rules. Any person who joins must be younger than 18. So previously, they had to be within a year of Witch's age or younger, because when someone joins and they say that they're like 18, you don't know if they're like 18, 3 months and 14 days, or 18 and 0 months, 0 days. So there was no way for me to really check the exact age of joiners until they actually physically joined, which I said, you know, if they're within a year of Witch, it's fine. With that said, Witch is still the oldest of the entire colony by 3 years, discounting guests, because guests don't count. Nor do animals or whatever else. So the change there is that we are now effectively an an orphanage. Well, we're both an orchard and an orphanage because we're covered in random weird toxivore but we're an orphanage, so she's not going to admit anyone who is 18 or older. So that would be the only major change. Now, with that said, I had contemplated forcing adults out once they aged up as like a little lamplight thing, but given that Witch got banished, I don't think she would ever do that to anyone else. So I decided against that pretty easily. As you can see by my head, the current priority right now is to recruit you, the prisoner here, the 3-year-old prisoner, who has converted to our way, but we need to recruit her. And then the other priority is to tend to the colony food and clothing needs. So we are, I wouldn't say we're like in danger of starvation, but it's not exactly certain that it won't happen. So what I want to do is to do a few different things. One, over here, I'm going to add 2 more bills. I'm going to say make, because we have a lot of kids, I'm going to make kid parkas and kid rompers because they weren't in the queue, and kids can't wear adult-sized parkers or rompers. Now, we do have a bunch of fluffalopes, and the reason I mention that is parkas and rompers made of fluffalope wool are going to be insanely insulating. And it's going to be the only ingredient we consider for the new clothing, so that pawns don't get hypothermic. That's the primary driver there. All right, another thing I wanted to do is to schedule Witch to have recreation time with everyone else. She's kind of like a workaholic, if you will, but I do think it's going to be in her best interest in the long run for her to recreate with others, to build up a rapport. Not that she can speak with any of them, she's deaf right now, but eventually, yeah. The other thing that I wanted to do over here is to make sure that we are getting gas masks. So I'm going to pause the prosthetics that we definitely need, just because there's other like more urgent things to make. And I'm going to set up a gas mask queue where we have 2 gas masks in stock at 95 plus HP at all times. Because it would be really bad to not wear a gas mask here, as, of course, the map tile is massively polluted, and you would get sick quickly if you don't wear one. Mikey, thank you for the cheer. I'll drink to that. So that's what's going on right now. Okay, you should be flicking that off, not smelting weapon. There is a thing where like children don't claim a bedroom normally how you would claim bedrooms. So as you can see, this is still Sky and Scorpia's bedroom. It doesn't carry the barracks penalty because a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old won't trigger a bedroom to remain a turn it into a barracks. So this is like a slightly better setup. In the long run, I don't... Well, actually, Scorpia, maybe you take... Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to put this hospital bed back over here. And then she'll take the prisoner bed so that you has a prisoner room rather than barracks. And yeah, that's a super weird place for a dresser. It's got to be close to be able to link. Yeah, I'm going to go with super weird. Okay, that'll work. So we got a barracks. Or, I mean, a bedroom. Well, technically, bedroom. And we're going to need new bedrooms, like, eventually. But for now, I think we're good with what we currently have. All right, Postus. You are going to need some medical tending. And we're already tending. And I just told Witch to pocket herbal meds on her person in order to have meds on hand at all time. So Postus is here for 2.5 more days, and one thing that will happen, what do I have? A lot of slate. One thing that will happen is if we do accomplish this quest, we are going to need... I'll just put the braziers here. Braziers are like super counterproductive considering that we're deep freezing this mountain. But we're going to want braziers in here so that it's like a valid throne room and just like compensate with extra cooling. Feels stupid, but like it's required. Another thing I wanted to add over here is a granite door to cap it off because a limestone gate won't necessarily keep people out. And then maybe another one here so that I can close the deadfall trap tunnel if and when I want to. So at the moment, I'm just working on like very short-term goals, immediate needs and the like. And then once things get a little bit more stable in the colony, I'll start to do longer-term strategy. Whether we are going to work towards trying to get ghouls, or trying to get agri-hands and hollerbots, or trying to get a grav ship, like bigger picture stuff. And Scorpia, I'm putting you in charge of, Whoa, speaking of which, thanks for all the gifted subs. I'm putting you in charge of cleaning. Now I feel bad. You've made me feel bad. You won't be in cleaning duty for too long, I promise. So taking a look at her gear here, Witch has a mask that is about to break down. Murrow has a mask that's about to break down. Fangface has a mask that's about to break down. Joker has a mask that's... Okay, I see the pattern here. Sky doesn't have a mask, and Scorpio doesn't have a mask. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 masks. Everyone has a gas mask that's about to fail them. I'm glad I identified that as an issue before I started, because everyone getting toxic buildup and dying would be pretty rough. What's delaying the ocular implants for Sakura? So that would be a mix of not having enough components and not having spare gas masks, because without the gas masks, we're just dead. You know, we'll slowly get toxic buildup until we perish. So that's the holdup. It's not to say that I won't do it. It's just, it needs to wait. All right, Joker, what are you working on? You are making a kid's parka? That's exactly what I want you to do. Perfect. The other thing I wanted to do over here is this room is not going to be enough as the crafting room that it was supposed to be. So I'm going to make it larger so that we don't have to make another room later on. Because this is like a stockroom workshop hybrid, and making it larger is going to be pretty helpful. So, in terms of healthcare, Witch has no ears. Fangface has a peg leg and on the other foot a missing toe. Joker has a missing ear and a peg leg and dentures. And then, so there's a lot of like bionics that are needed. We're currently working on advanced fabrication, and that's going to lead to bionic replacements, which I think is very reasonable for us to sort of, I mean, we could do prosthetics, but it might make more sense to hold out for full-fledged bionics. It's going to be more smithing, but like Joker at 11, once Joker's 13, he can take over a lot of the smithing tasks. Because he's a genie, he just can't do it right now because you have to be 13 to smith. All right. So we're getting a larger crafting room, gas masks, better clothing, and then the other worry that I have here, which is one of the reasons why I might temporarily pause the gas mask production in a second, is, and let's not fuel that up right now, is having Witch tend to the farm. Because she's the only person that can reasonably grow, and if she's not tending this farm, which obviously has not been sown in a while, we end up with, another starvation event, which is not so fun. Less than fun. So I might do a quick pause on... Okay, she swapped. Good. A quick pause on getting the new gas mask made, because I do have the priority up there, colony food and clothing needs, and the clothing needs have not been attended to just yet. What? I'm gonna give you a machine pistol. Feels weird to give a, I guess we have a 4-year-old with a heavy SMG. So, I don't know. We already crossed weird a long time ago. And then Postus is only here for 2 more days, and she's helping to research and construct, which is great. I think we have a lot of herbal meds. So, what I'm going to do here is switch this over to cotton. The purpose of planting cotton, 1, it's quicker than herbal meds. 2, if we want billiard tables and poker, which is weird for children to play with, but it's going to be more recreation efficient than chess or horseshoe pins, we're going to need cloth for that. And I have some cloth, I just don't have a ton of cloth. So the more the merrier. Yeah, go fish table, exactly. And the billiards is really just like playing with marbles or something. I don't know. Oh, some lessons. I like how Witch is teaching Scorpia and Joker's watching Witch teach Scorpia. The learning loop. To be perfectly fair, there aren't really classes about how to teach. Right? Like, in order to become a teacher, you mostly just learn. I don't know. Yeah, there's not a lot of like, it's weird. There aren't like how to teach classes. And I don't know why. There really ought to be. reminds me when I was in high school, I had an English teacher that was pregnant and had like a teacher's aide that was supposed to take over for her once she, you know, went into labor and went on maternity leave and all that. And the teacher's aide was like a grad student at a local college or something. She was older, you know, she's probably in her 30s or something. And we were a pretty angelic class. Like, we were really, really well behaved, and there wasn't really any issues, and everyone was very kind and nice. And that teacher's assistant, like, full on panic attacked with the expectation that, like, she would have to take over, and, like, couldn't handle it. And it was like, if you can't handle our, like, really well behaved class, you're just doomed. You should get out of teaching. Go into a lab job or something. I don't know, a historian, you know, docent, librarian. You're not fit for this. Because when I say that we were like an extremely well-behaved class, it was quite true. Like, everyone did the readings, everyone did their homework, no one had to get yelled at. You know, it's like, how can you not handle this? This is crazy. Yeah, I imagine today it's a lot harder to teach kids. Like, when I was in high school, it was like pre-smartphone, so teachers weren't competing with inattentive kids that had the answer in their pockets and AI to do all their homework. You know, I think that's a very real problem that we kind of have today. But back in my day, we didn't have things like the smartphone. I'm sorry, I did that in a southern accent. It was unnecessary. Okay, so we have a exotic illustrator. I don't have a trade beacon here. What I want to do eventually is, like, phase this out and move everything over there, so I'm not even going to build another trade beacon. So let's go do some tradey trades. And I don't know who... One second. I'm gonna guess Postus is gonna be way better at trade as a guest. Yeah, because she can actually hear. So I'm gonna have our guest do the trading, because Witch is deaf. So it's 3% or 20%. Yeah, I'll go with 20, thanks. I would love more sentience catalysts, but I don't think it's reasonable for me to stock up on those right now. Nothing in this list screams buy me or sell me. I don't really see any demanding trades. Buying a book for book learning. That, we already have one. I mean, I could buy a second book. But once you have one book, that's, like, enough recreation. The other books that we have here is Construction and Animals book, another rec book, and multi-barrel gun book. And, like, I'm not going to give my children miniguns. I'm not Coney. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to even need to do that trade. Oh, here's Witch swimming in the swamp. Like you do. Oh, another Exoticus trader. Okay. This second one is the Yoko. Should always be the lower one, but I always check anyway. I don't know why I'm checking them, as if they... Actually, I mean, they have different tech prints and gene packs. They have a Pollux seed, not that we could afford it, and Psy trainers. A quest sleep suppressor Gore Hulk book. Interesting. Architect eyes and arms, way above our price point. A lot of this is like, I would love to buy these, but like realistically I cannot afford them, so it's kind of moot. We need to build her a pool? Yeah, no kidding. Maybe she just likes to be in a swamp. I don't know. Like, who's to say? I mean, to be fair, it's not a toxic swamp. It's just regular swamp. Because that's where a petrified tree used to be. So Witch is getting all the crops sown so we don't starve. Well, when I say we, everybody but Witch. What side abilities do the guests have? They have Pain Block. They are a novice. They're like actually not that high rank. Which is unusual. Normally they're higher rank. Oh, and she's even helping build a throne for me. How sweet. One construction task I would really like to attend to is to get wood floors in here before we have another infestation, because that will help to deal with the infestation really, really effectively. I don't want Postus to do it. I don't want to endanger our guests that we've been hosting for so long. So maybe Fangface? Take a break from mining to go lay some flooring down. I think that's the right call. You should be joining us pretty soon. That's not really, like, a lot of these children aren't like net positives to colony production or productivity, because they're like 3 and 4 and can like clean maybe a little, but they're not. We're taking care of them as a labor of love, not as a means to send them to the mines. If you yeah. All right, the farm kind of looks tended to. Sown all the areas. Ah, look, we even have Morrow doing some entity research. As far as the entity research goes, we're currently working on summoned flesh beasts. Now, I had this thought. I did talk just a few minutes ago about like long-term goals, and one might be to try to get ghouls. We do have ghoul infusion, but we're going to need an advanced entity to get ghoul enhancements, which really make the ghouls dangerous, and then ghoul resurrection to make the ghouls immortal. And then bionics for the ghouls. One really good bionic, especially for our colony, is going to be nuclear stomach. The reason is ghouls require meat or corpses or they go crazy. Now, summon flesh beasts is actually pretty nice because we can summon flesh beasts, kill them for the meat, the twisted meat. Because our colony doesn't hunt, so we can't get meat from animals. We could buy meat or we could summon twisted meat. But a nuclear stomach, because ghouls can't get cancer, a nuclear stomach would help massively in keeping a ghoul fed so they don't go berserk. So if we do want to go down the path of like trying to get a ghoul, being able to summon flesh beasts, being able to bait insects, being able to preserve their meat and twisted meat, insect meat and twisted meat, for the ghoul to eat, is going to be critical, mission critical, in order to keep the ghoul from going berserk. But trying to get the specific book for nuclear stomach is, we could do ancient dangers or stuff, but like it's going to be a little challenging, I suspect. So Postus is here for only half a day. Oh, come on, don't have a mental break all the way out here. That'd be bad. Oh, yeah, great. You built one floor, botched it. Alright, that's probably enough floor for an infestation, so I'll just forbid the wood, forbid the door, and call it good for now. Sky, you don't have a parka. There is one right there. Go wear it. There we go. And with that parka, you're good to -40. So yeah, you'll be fine. Alright, keep it together, Fangface. Now, we do have this, like, killboxy thing, but what I am missing, and I know this for sure, is I don't have a lot of turrets in there, and I certainly don't have a lot of things that can pack a punch. So it'd be very easy for that killbox to get completely overwhelmed by hostiles. And that's another thing that we'll probably need to address. Getting more turrets, getting autocannon turrets. The other thing, there's a slight miscalculation. The distance between the defenses and the back of the entryway is 24, not 23. So what I might want to do is shrink it a bit, double wall the back here, and then move this back wall in where this one is, so that enemies standing here can't be outside of the range of a heavy SMG. And it's a lot of work, but like ultimately having a kill box where the enemies can outrange you makes 0 sense. So that's why I want to make that little change. Alternatively, I could have just pushed up the defenses too, but then that means like the whole deadfall trap tunnel, spike trap tunnel just gets all weird. Okay, this is likely her last tending, which is coming down to do it. And then we'll actually get our hospital bed back, which, with my luck, I'm gonna get, like, sleeping sickness immediately. I just know it. So, Scorpia, you are cleaning... Okay, here we go. Shuttle arrived. Where? Oh, way up there. Okay. Well, alright. Bye-bye, Postus. Pleasure to have you here. Good luck on your way home. And our hospital's now a hospital again. Now, it's probably not a room that we want to keep long-term. I want to slowly put everything in the mountain, as I think it's fundamentally safer. Alright. Quest complete. Her average mood was 62%, so my goodwill went up by 6, which is useful, because I've failed a whole lot of the shuttle protection quests. So my my rep with them was already -32 on its way to becoming hostile, which is kind of scary. So it went up, and now we have a Witch's Acolyte Ceremony. And for that I would need a throne, and if we take a look at the Acolyte needs a meditation throne, all floor, 24 tiles, 2 braziers. Braziers must be lit. So this room will do as soon as the throne is done. GMT, thank you for the resub. So we're finishing up the crafting room. We're trying to make all the clothing that is required. We have a lot of gas masks to crank out. And then we'll need like a 7th for you once you is out too. It might actually be worth doing the bestowing ceremony for once we recruit you, because the more people that are present in the bestowing ceremony, the nicer the bestowing ceremony is, and there's a benefit into waiting as a result. The other thing we could have done is incorporated the jade. How much jade do I have? 160? We don't get a lot of green here. Well, actually, there's nothing that we're going to physically be able to plant in -21C. Jade stools. I don't want to do the whole like min-max of like jade fences everywhere. I mean, that's just dumb. We could have done jade braziers or jade pillars. I know that eventually we're going to need jade columns for the room. So that might not be a bad idea. I think this room is going to need to grow at some point in the long run and then become fine floored in the long run. So we can start working towards like, you know, if she continues to climb up honor-wise. Big if. Dark light braziers still make the same amount of heat braziers do. However, braziers don't make a ton of heat, like, to begin with, so they're not as problematic as one would think. Of the remaining colonists, who has trade price improvement? So, Witch is at a 3. Morrow is higher. Tied with, Thing. Joker, Sky, and Scorpio is probably at 0. Oh no, 3. Okay, so, Fang, you're awake. You'll do it. What are your current traits? You are a slob. So that we don't have to smelt it to save us the trouble, I'm just gonna sell the weapons that we don't need. That's about it. A little bit of silver coming our way, and that's about the extent. And that's okay. I didn't think it was going to be a big trade. All right, taking a look at the masks. 98, 51, 51, 100%, 100%, 100%. So we need 2 more masks. Well, 3 if we count you. Yeah, there is time for more growth. That's true. Joker has some time for growth. Sky is... So the next milestone for Sky is at 7. Same with you, Scorp. Or no, yours is at 10. You have time for growth. I would say, Scorp, you have the hardest time for growth because you're 8, and at 10 you have your growth moment. But from 10 to 13, you should be able to hit pretty good numbers as long as we do a reasonable amount of education. It's just... having a bunch of like completely uneducated kids show up very close to their like age max is, you know, is difficult. I don't think I'm gonna part with any gold for the tribute collector, but I don't really mind the tribute collector like hanging out around our colony because that's free protection if you ask me. And there we go. The workshop shop is a little bit better now. So once we get the throne in, we'll be able to. I'm probably still going to wait for use recruit, but we'll be able to ascend up to acolyte, and with any luck, get a good next, you know, sidecast. Vertical pulse, maybe. What are the level 2 sidecasts? I think vertical pulse would be easily the best at tier 2. I'm trying to look them up. Level 2, we've got water skip, blinding pulse, neural heat dump. Oh no, vertical is 3. Never mind. So maybe blinding pulse. Water skip wouldn't be terrible, but like we don't really have a colony of a lot of fires. I guess once the bugs are downed, it would allow us to like neutralize the remaining bugs quickly, but I don't think it's all that useful. So I don't know. Ultimately, I don't think it's all that, not a big deal. What do you guys think? What do you think is the best? The one I should be aiming towards. Not that I get to choose. As far as advanced replication goes, we've hit like the almost 3/4 mark on it. And then as soon as we're like 3/4 done, it will be a lot easier for us to, you know, to make bionics and stuff like that. So I am really hopeful that, that the storyteller doesn't throw us like any nasty curveballs and make it really difficult for us to do the healthcare we need. Because there's a lot of really permanently injured colonists right now, and they all need a little love, I would say. Well, I'm not likely to get chunk skip, because that's a level 1 psycast. I'd be ranking up to level 2. So chunk skip is not even one of the options. It's really just between blinding, water, and neural heat dump. A gift! I like how the Royal Tribute Collector is supposed to collect gold, and they just gave me gold. It's like, well, sure, thanks. It seems like you're a little confused about your purpose of existence, but, I don't mind. Yeah, apparently they have too much gold and they're gifting it away. Maybe that's how we should interpret it. So as far as the colony's food needs, there is a fair bit of corn that's going to be coming up soon. But I need to keep on top of it, or it's going to creep up on me and really, we'll have a bad time. And now that we have the floor print for the crafting room, and yes, I did double doors, we're going to want to floor it all up with steel so they won't track in so much dirt, because Scorpia's job is essentially to clean up dirt. What I really wanted her to clean up is like this rock rubble, like old rock rubble from destroying the pillars. But there really hasn't been, I guess she's been too busy. I haven't been tracking, but I feel like she's doing a lot of learning and like floor writing and stuff, and not actually working on the project at large. Yeah, I'm so poor that the tax collector gave me money. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So she is at a resistance 1.2. So in like 2 or 3 more conversations. Oh god, that's so hard to move. She's not exactly happy. You have ratty apparel. You have okay, I see. You need a romper. That's a parka. That's also a parka. I'm actually gonna force target to wear the nicer parka. Keep her warmer. Because it's a fluffalope parka. Ally is now neutral. Oh, shoot. Member stripped! Rip! I didn't know you were... I guess you are, but... I'm so confused. I didn't... whatever. My brain. Well, this is probably gonna do the same thing again. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm like, when's my last save? I'm gonna save scum that. That's stupid. She's a prisoner, first and foremost. All right, well, I won't be making that mistake twice. What's funny about that? How'd you even get the parka on in the first place? Is this when... No, okay, this is before. Okay, if we put the romper on the ground, she'll probably just wear it. And then I get the same consequence without the penalty. It's like they're spying on me. She's a mole. Like, how do they even know that a prisoner in my mountain with no... whatever. Just RimWorld things. Thank you for the resub, tacos. So we still have more deadfall traps to build. It might be in my best interest to just keep some local steel. Maybe as important and not critical. Assuming the this steel is critical. No, the steel is important. I'm going to put this steel as... Well, actually, here. Let's do this important and this preferred. That'll work. Wow, there is a lot of omu. There's even some more fluffalopes. I think we're good with the amount of fluffalopes we currently have. We don't have need of a lot more wool. Joker's like plowing through the bills, and even still, we're pretty good on that front. From trees to industrial factory inside of a mountain. RimWorld at its core. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely not wrong. RimWorld is all about those kind of massive industrialization improvements. There's really no advantage to stay low tech for long. Unless it's part of the roleplay. So Yu's about to join us. We still are trying to catch up on some of the clothing stuff. And then once Yu joins and we become Acolyte, I would like to focus on trying to make a lot of the things in the colony that are like labor intensive and difficult streamlined. So I want to fix the kill box and improve our defenses and, you know, like those kind of things. Only just realized that a lot of these turrets are banged up. That seems unwise. Thank you for tuning in to the Boundless Witch, which originally streamed live on Twitch as a marathon. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, viewers like you that support the channel, and all the people that turned out to the marathon. I really appreciate it. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow orphans in the orphanage.